Friday. Welcome back to the sewing room. I had yesterday off. Well, technically I had a ton of admin to catch up on, so I have got that all done and I now have a ton of just emails to answer. Like I say, Monique, you're still the first one to get to, and I haven't started on the emails yet, but I will be doing that over the weekend. So if you've sent me an email, thank you very much. I have read it and I will reply. It just takes me a little while to do that. Same with my DMs on Instagram and DMs on Facebook. Definitely takes me a while to get there, but I do get there eventually. So I am down in the sewing room today and I'm going to be filming the twirls and chatty bit reveal for these 3 dresses. I've put this jumper on because I'm imagining wearing this under the 9327, and I think it's going to look quite nice because those sleeves have big kind of like openings in them, and I wanted to try them because I didn't like the straight sleeves and I didn't want to do the flutter sleeves. So I wanted to try those sleeves with the deep cuffs and the big openings on them, and I'm glad that I did. And I do like the shape of the sleeve, I just don't particularly love the opening. So Dad said they kind of look like the Elizabethan, they should have like puffs coming out of them kind of thing. So I'm thinking that this colour underneath might work quite well. We shall see. I think when I make that dress again I will probably kind of redraft the sleeve without the opening, but I am literally telling you all the stuff that I'm going to have been telling you in this video, so I'll shut up waffling about that. But that's what my plan for this afternoon is, because it's just gone midday. I have a slice of Christmas cake. Mum didn't cut into the Christmas cake until Burns night because it was only the 2 of them at Christmas and they just knew that they would just eat all of it themselves. So they took it to the Burns night that they went to, shared it with their friends. They've given a chunk to a neighbour, they've given a chunk to a friend, and there's only a quarter of it left. And Christmas cake is not remotely keto, I am aware of this, but I would like to have at least, like, I've got half a slice there, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm down to, I've lost how many? 16 pounds so far. So excited. I am very close to the weight that I would like to be for trialing trousers, which is awesome. I've also been thinking about, the last video I did was on what should I make next, and like all these tops, all these by hand London Anna tops, guess what they need for a lining? White cotton lawn. Guess what I don't have anything of? White cotton lawn. It's not arriving till the 3rd of February, so I won't be making the Anna tops next. So I was trying to think what I was going to do. I took down my Magnolia pattern last night to have a read of it and have a look at the pattern pieces, because I really want to recreate this Trashy Diva dress. It's the Obi dress and they did it with different embroideries on it, and I have some amazing embroideries that I got from Urban Threads and Embroidery Library as well. I think that it would be really cool to do 2 snakes here and on a solid black dress, because I had the silk dress from Trashy Diva with the dragons on it with the red obi belt, and I loved that. But again, I sold all of my Trashy Diva except for that one skirt because they just were too short-waisted and didn't fit me. So I was thinking I could use the Magnolia as like a kind of looky-likey for the Obi dress, and it's not exactly the same because there's princess seams in it and the Obi dress is just gathering, is the shaping that forms over the bust. And actually I think the by hand London Anna bodice is going to be a better bet to start that off, so I am going to attempt to do that at some point. But I do have 5 meters of black viscose in my stash, and I'm thinking about getting the embroidery unit out and attempting to embroider some snakes on the upper portion of the Magnolia bodice too. But the trouble with that is there's a lot of work that goes into embroidery, and if I fluff it up or if the Magnolia dress doesn't suit me or I don't like it, then I have wasted a lot of time embroidering stuff that's gone into something that I don't like. And so maybe I won't do that. I am going to make this one first, but I need to make a muslin and then a wearable muslin to make sure that I like it. So I'm not going to do the snake dress and the black viscose. So back to the drawing board on what fabric I'm going to use for this one, because I don't want to use the dark green cobra corsage because I want to make the 7537 with that one. I've decided, with the tiered and gathered skirt and possibly the ruffle as well, although I'm thinking I might leave the ruffle off of that one. So yeah, but I do have the cobra corsage deep green, bottle green background on cotton lawn. Wilson bought me both the viscose and cotton lawn bases for Christmas, so I could do the 6891 sew along with that fabric with a black cotton lawn lining, of which I have lots. So I'm thinking that's going to be the next one I do. I will still make the chantilly into the 6891 as well, because I really love that shirt dress, and once I've found a shirt dress I love, we all know I go ham and make all of them. So the only thing that I need to try and decide is, am I going to add the long sleeves to the green one? Because I have 4 meters of that fabric, which means I will probably have enough to add the long sleeves. But having said that, I'm making the 7537 out of the dark green one as well, which also has long sleeves. So I'm thinking sleeveless, because I do like short sleeves, but I don't like them when I have to stuff them under a cardigan, and it really limits the amount of time that I would wear it if it had short sleeves. Whereas if it's sleeveless, I will wear it with this underneath of it, or I would wear it with a cardigan over the top of it, and I won't have to try and like wrestle sleeves into the cardigan sleeves, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think I'm going to do the 6891 in the cobra corsage bottle green background with the black cotton lawn as the lining, so you guys will have the tutorial of how to make the dress, and also the tutorial on how to draft a lining for a dress, and then how I treat that dress once I've put a lining into it, because I do slightly different things for the skirt and the bodice. That's the plan. That's what we're going to do going forward. Then I'm going to work out what I'm going to make the magnolia with, because this one I have a feeling is going to look like is going to be the basis for the Pinterest dress that I want to recreate, and I have that 10 meters of fabric from Alexandra. So I'm thinking I might do that and do a recreate the Pinterest video. That's the plan. That's the plan. Mind you, I'm also stepping on all of the thing that I'm supposed to be doing on Sunday, which is the hangout with you guys, where I plan my February makes and put patterns and fabrics together. So I'm probably going to stop waffling now, 7.5 minutes, because I need to eat my cake, get my videos filmed, because Mum is very kindly giving me the sewing room for about 1.5 hours so that I can do that. So let's get on. Cake, filming, and then I'll come back. I just went up to the main house for a very quick bio break, and 1.5 hours later I've had 2 glasses of champagne. We've been here a year, officially a year, and they've officially moved back into the front room after it has been painted, and it's looking lovely. So I am going to decamp from in here and go back up to my room, because I'm trying to record voiceovers, and my laptop, the fans are going super hard, and unfortunately that's all you can hear on the voiceover. So I'm going to go back up to my room so I can record them on my laptop tray, so that the fans won't hopefully interrupt. Anyway, my battery's flashing, so just wanted to come and tell you that. I shall see the rest of you tomorrow. Bye! Hey peeps, welcome back to the sewing room. Today it is Saturday, and I am going to be kind of pottering and doing a little bits here and there today. I haven't quite worked out what I want to do, because tomorrow for the live hangout we're going to go through my cobra corsage stash and put patterns together with fabrics and plan out February's sewing in more detail, which is going to be awesome. So it's kind of going to be kind of like a live fabric haul. But I mean, given that I've already filmed the fabric haul for January with all of those things in, I don't think I can do another February. This is what I'm going to make, because it's going to be exactly the same stuff. So I think today I've decided on a fabric for the 8167. I was going to buy a new fabric, but I went through my stash yesterday when I was filming my Patreon behind the scenes waffle, and there's a John Caldwell one that I've got that I think would look really good as the 8167, because I was getting stuck on that I must make it in a plain fabric again, or I must find exactly the same print. I think the John Caldwell one's going to be the best bet. So I'm going to get that pattern out to redraft the facing, because I really don't like the facing as is that comes with the pattern. So I'm going to redraft it to be an all-in-one facing. I'm hoping that will work, and I'm hoping I won't then get, because I don't really have a line where the original facing is, so I'm hoping I won't get like a harsh line, especially if I face my facing rather than finish it with bias binding, which I like both methods. So yeah, I'm going to get that out and traced and done today and cut out. As I mentioned yesterday, don't have any white cotton lawn, so I can't cut any of the other Anna tops out. Well, I mean I could, but yeah, I'm gonna wait till the white cotton lawn arrives, because otherwise I'll just sit around as bits of fabric for a very long time. That is the plan. I'm wearing the fine line sweater that Mum knit for me. It's got nice big poofy sleeves, big cuffs, kind of very Victorian, like a slightly toned down version of the cycling sweater, because it's still got the big sleeves but not the giant like leg of mutton sleeves at it doesn't have the roll neck, it has a boat neck instead. So I mean, it's a very toned down version of the cycling sweater, but I really like it. I haven't worn it before because when I tried it on, it really kind of highlighted that my bra was really digging in, and I ended up with like a muffin top. But because I've lost weight, it now looks really nice and smooth, which is great. And I have it on with my Jungle Tropics cotton drill skirt, and this does have some of the kind of bright blue in it, so I kind of think it works. And I have also tucked it in. It does come to about here, so I could untuck it and put the belt over the top, which is another option I'm thinking about. But I do like how this looks, and also because I've lost weight, the skirt's a little bit big on me, which is such a nice problem to have. So I am having tucked the sweater in is making the skirt fit me better at the moment. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to get done today, is get those two sew-alongs, because there's a bit that I need to film for each of them, and then I can start cutting them out. So I think that's what I'm going to get done today. I think we shall see. Let's see how we get on. I didn't mean to get that many projects out, but I seem to have done that. It'll be fine. I found even more things to cut out. So I don't know if you remember, but when I cut out the lining for my Sorrento jacket, I wanted the silk was supposed to be the lining for the waistcoat from the 5193, so I cut that out first to make sure I had enough. Then I cut out the sleeves for the Sorrento jacket, and I was going to wait to make that because I have two lengths of this Brielle wool back here. I want to make a pair of trousers and a skirt out of it, and I'm thinking that the waistcoat pieces could go up the side of the trousers, but the Sherwood's Christmas half price remnant sale, they had a piece that was 65 centimeters long and it was half off, so I bought it, and it's exactly the right amount, I think, to make this waistcoat. So I'm going to get that cut out because these pieces have been living in this folder, and it's a quick make and they deserve to be made up, and it's going to go really well with all those navy dresses that I've just made, and it will also go really well with the cobra corsage dresses, I think. So I've ironed my wool. I think there is another 65 centimeter piece on there, and I might go back and get that if somebody else hasn't snapped it up, because I would like to make a jacket as well. And I'm thinking that if I can get, because the basically the lots of fluff on this because I've ironed it over the floor, but basically the jacket pieces are exactly the same as the waistcoat pieces, just add sleeves. So it's not like the perfect tailored jacket. But I'm also thinking there's a new look pattern that I've done a waistcoat with, the 6013 or the 6103. I want to try that on over one of these waistcoats because I actually think that could look quite nice, because it's got a collar and it's lower. Yeah, maybe if that wool is still there. So I'm going to get this cut out. So which means you're going to be on a time lapse. I'm going to start the music, fingers crossed, looking at it. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to have enough, but we will get as much cut out of this as possible, and if I need to, I can always borrow a little bit from one of the other lengths that I've got in the stash. Wish me luck. Getting the wool all laid out and the pattern pieces put on, thinking I've done really well, and then remembering that I actually need to cut 2 sets of the front, so 4 in total, not just the one. Thankfully I remember before I started cutting into things, so getting that all done now. It fit! I am very glad that I remembered before I started cutting that I needed to cut 2 pairs, so 4 in total, of the front piece, not just the 2, because I was like, oh, I could probably get a cap out of this as well, because I'm thinking cap, waistcoat, baggy trousers, big shirt underneath, could be pretty cool. And yeah, I remembered that actually no, I need to cut 4 of the front piece because there's a facing and the outer. So I managed to do that by pattern Tetris, as you have just seen. So that one is now done, ready for its interfacing to be cut out, because I have cut some of the super lightweight interfacing for the front panel, but I'm thinking I'm actually going to interface every single piece with the super lightweight interfacing, and then maybe get a heavier weight interfacing for the front panel to just give that a little bit more structure, because the fabrics I've used previously have been a little bit more sturdy than that. That's very drapey suiting. It's very nice suiting. It's 80% wool, 20% polyamide, I think. So yeah, very nice suiting, but very glad that I've got that cut out of that little remnant. So I think the silk was £22 and the outer fabric was, I think, £3.50. Yeah, but as I say, I have 2 other lengths of that particular Brielle wool for trousers and a skirt and potentially a jacket if I can squeeze it out. We shall see. Right, next I need to work on the 8167. I need to redraft a facing, press the fabric, cut it out, get bits of that filmed for the sew along. So let's get all of the pattern pieces ironed, get the fabric ironed, and get on with that. I'm having second thoughts about this fabric. It's such a large print, and there is a centre front seam, and it's a centre front seam because the grain line is different, so I can't cut it on the fold. I think it might look bad having a centre front seam going through one of these giant motifs. Okay, so I think I'm going to use this fabric. I got this from Spain. The very lovely Fanny went and bought it for me. She'd featured it on her Instagram, and I immediately messaged her and just said, oh my gosh, I need that. And she very kindly offered to go back into town the next time, or back to the shop the next time she was in town, and then her husband took her to town the next day. She actually ended up getting me 7.5 meters of this, even though I'd only asked for 5, because there is this fault line, fault print in the fault in the print, there we go, words are hard, that's running along the edge of the majority of this piece. This is the 3.5 meter piece. It's a little bit on the other 4 meter piece, but it's you know, it's totally workaroundable. This pattern also isn't directional because the lilies are facing that way there and downwards there, so I don't think it's directional. I think it looks good from both directions, which means I can nest my pattern pieces. And I had 3 meters of the burgundy one, so I think this will work really well. And this actually is probably a lot closer to the Peter Pilotto inspiration dress than the John Caldor fabric that I was going to use. And I'm glad I decided not to use that one. If I could have cut it on the centre front seam on the fold, then I totally would, but the grain line is not parallel to the centre front seam, so I couldn't. And I think this one's going to look fine with a centre front seam because it's a much smaller and busier print. So yeah, I'm going to do it with this one. This is the way.
It's always so satisfying when you get to lay out fabric and smooth it out and get it on grain and then fold it all up so that it's ready for cutting.
Looking at this again, I think this is directional. I think whilst these little red lilies are both the right way up and upside down, I think the rest of it looks better with that the top and this is the bottom. So I'm not going to be able to nest my pieces, I don't think. I don't know, actually. Do you know what? I don't think it actually does matter. So I think what I will do is I will cut the front pieces out so that that's the top and this is the bottom. And then if I need to nest the back pieces, I can always do that. I have also folded it with the fault up, so I can see where the fault is, so I can avoid it as much as possible because it's only on one side, it's not on both sides, which is great. I'm also not going to worry if a little bit of the fault creeps into the bottom of the skirt panels because they are really full, and I think it's not going to look too bad. It's not going to be like it's not a really wide one, so I think I'm going to get away with it. We shall see. Let's start cutting this out.
I got asked in the comments the other day why I cut my patterns out with the print the right way out when the patterns recommend that you cut it with the fabric folded so that the wrong sides are out. Just because it's prettier, and I sometimes do it the other way, and this time there was a fault line that I wanted to particularly keep an eye on, so it's no particular reason that I do it this way, and I can't think of a particular reason why you should cut it with the wrong sides out, but yeah, I think it's prettier to look at.
Okay, now because of the fault that I've got going through the fabric, I was going to cut these 2 facing pieces on the fold, and to do that I would need to move the back piece over and put the 2 facing pieces on the fold there. But if I put the back piece over, I end up with a white line going right all the way through this part of the side panel, which I can avoid. So I am going to place the back piece over here outside of the fold, and then I'm going to put the facing pieces on it, and I am going to cut those out with extra seam allowance so I can seam them down the front. There's a centre front seam and a centre back seam, so it's not going to add too much bulk. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Once I'd made the decision about the front and back facing pieces, I then laid my pattern pieces out so that I was avoiding the fault line on the outer garment. And I just used my ruler to add the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance back to the cut on the fold lines for the facing pieces. Once I was finished with the 8167, I decided to cut out the 8972 from the beautiful scuba that the lovely Nimue got me for Christmas. And I've just decided to get this cut out and sewn up as quickly as possible because scuba is bulky, and I have been trying to get all of my scubas made into dresses so that I can wear them during the colder periods of the year, like now. This dress will take me probably about an hour to sew up.
I've had quite a productive day. I've got 3 things cut out, and I'm in the middle of tracing out the 9006. I am going to cut that one out of the teal cobra corsage, and I'm also going to do the Vogue 9076 because I'm doing a sew along for that one, and then I'm going to cut out to the McCall's 6891. But I'm going to stop for this evening, go and make myself some dinner, and come back tomorrow and perhaps do it during the hangout, or maybe do it after the hangout or before the hangout, depending on what time I get up in the morning. But it's been a nice productive day. I'm feeling really good about what I have got done and excited about the next projects that I'm going to get to sew up. So I'm going to say goodnight to you, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!